Every once in a while, a mystery appears that feels less like a real crime and more like something written for a movie.
A mystery so strange, so impossible, that even after decades of investigation, nobody can fully explain it.
And tonight, we're talking about one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in modern history.
The mystery of the Somerton Man.
A dead stranger found on an Australian beach in 1948.
No identification.
No clear cause of death.
No known family.
No confirmed name.
And hidden in his pocket.
A tiny message that would confuse investigators for generations.
Tamám Shud, and hidden in his pocket.
Now, John, before we begin, I just want to say this case genuinely unsettles me.
Same here?
Because this isn't just a normal unsolved murder.
No.
This feels bigger than that.
Way bigger.
It feels like every answer in this case only creates more questions.
Exactly.
Like imagine being police in 1948.
You find a dead man on a beach.
Okay, already strange.
But then you realize nobody knows who he is.
Then you notice all the clothing labels have been removed.
Then doctors suspect poison.
But can't identify any poison.
Then you discover encoded messages.
Then possible spy connections.
Then a woman who may know more than she admits.
And suddenly, this simple death becomes one of the most chilling puzzles ever recorded. To understand this mystery, we first need to understand the world where it happened.
Australia in 1948 was very different from today.
World War II had ended only 3 years earlier.
And even though the war was over, the fear wasn't.
Because a new global conflict was beginning.
The Cold War.
Tension between the Soviet Union and Western nations was growing rapidly.
Governments everywhere were terrified of spies.
Secret intelligence operations were increasing.
And ordinary people had no idea how much espionage activity was happening behind the scenes.
Now, specifically, this story takes place in Adelaide, South Australia.
At the time, Adelaide was quiet, peaceful, almost sleepy.
Beautiful beaches.
Friendly neighborhoods.
The kind of place where people didn't lock their doors.
Which makes this case even more shocking.
The evening of November 30th, 1948.
Somerton Beach.
Several witnesses later reported seeing a man lying against the seawall near the shore.
And what's creepy is, people noticed him for hours.
But nobody realized he was dead.
One witness said the man was lying with his legs crossed elegantly.
Almost like he was relaxing after a long day.
Another witness said he seemed calm.
Completely motionless.
Then came the detail that still gives me chills.
The arm movement.
Yes.
A witness claimed the man lifted one arm weakly into the air.
And then let it fall back down.
At the time, the witness assumed he was drunk.
But later, investigators wondered if that movement was actually his final moment alive.
Think about how horrifying that is.
Seriously.
Imagine walking past someone during the last seconds of their life without realizing it.
The next morning, around 6:30 a.m.,
a man riding horseback along the beach noticed the same figure still sitting there.
That's when police were called.
Officers arrived expecting maybe an intoxicated man sleeping outdoors.
Instead, they found a corpse.
The body was leaning against a seawall with unusual precision.
Almost staged.
That's exactly what some investigators later believed.
The man looked to be in his early 40s.
Well-groomed.
Healthy.
Athletic.
His hands showed no signs of heavy labor.
Which suggested he may have worked an office job or something professional.
But then police noticed something strange immediately.
The clothing.
This man was overdressed for the beach.
Very overdressed.
He wore a jacket, shirt, tie, trousers, polished shoes.
Even though it was warm weather.
And then came the first truly disturbing clue.
Every label had been removed from his clothing.
Every single one.
Imagine how deliberate that is.
You'd have to carefully cut them out one by one.
Which means somebody either desperately wanted to hide this man's identity.
Or the man himself didn't want to be identified.
Police searched his pockets hoping for answers.
Maybe a wallet?
Maybe a passport.
Maybe train documents?
Anything.
Instead, they found random, everyday objects.
A comb.
A pack of chewing gum.
A half-used pack of cigarettes.
Matches.
A railway ticket.
A bus ticket.
And here's another weird detail.
The cigarette pack didn't match the cigarettes inside.
Right.
The box was for a cheap cigarette brand,
But inside were expensive cigarettes.
which investigators thought was unusual.
Because it could suggest somebody swapped them.
Maybe poison?
Exactly.
Some theorists believe poisoned cigarettes may have been involved.
especially since toxicology at the time was limited.
Doctors performed the autopsy, hoping science would finally explain what happened.
But instead, the medical findings created even more confusion.
The man's pupils were unusually small.
His spleen was enlarged.
His liver showed abnormalities.
There was blood congestion in several organs.
His stomach contained partially digested food.
Doctors believed these symptoms strongly suggested poison.
But here's the terrifying part.
No poison was found.
None.
Not arsenic?
Not cyanide.
Nothing detectable.
Which led investigators to think of rare poisons.
Poisons that disappear quickly from the body.
Or poisons specifically designed to avoid detection.
And suddenly, people started whispering one word.
Spy.
Now this next part is extremely important.
Because people sometimes forget how paranoid the late 1940s were.
Countries everywhere feared infiltration.
Governments feared Soviet agents.
Secret intelligence agencies were rapidly expanding.
And Australia had military research facilities that foreign powers were very interested in.
So when police find an unidentified dead man,
With removed labels
possible poison exposure,
and suspicious behavior,
people naturally began suspecting espionage.
especially because spies during that era often carried false identities,
And some intelligence agencies reportedly used undetectable poisons.
which sounds insane.
But historically, it absolutely happened.
Then investigators discovered a major clue.
At Adelaide Railway Station, police located a brown suitcase believed to belong to the dead man,
The suitcase had been checked into the station cloakroom the previous day.
which means the Somerton man likely arrived in Adelaide by train.
Inside the suitcase were clothes, tools, thread, laundry items.
But once again, labels had been removed,
That consistency is terrifying.
because now it clearly looks intentional.
Investigators did recover a few names, though.
One item had the name Keene.
Another had T. Keene.
Police searched for missing persons with that name across multiple countries.
Nothing matched.
At this point, investigators were entering nightmare territory,
Because it was like this man existed physically.
but had no identity anywhere.
Then came the discovery that changed the entire case forever.
A detective examining the man's trousers noticed something unusual,
A tiny hidden pocket sewn inside the waistband.
almost like a secret compartment.
Inside it,
Was a tiny rolled piece of paper.
and on the paper were the words.
Tamám Shud.
Those two words transformed this case from strange.
Into legendary.
The phrase came from the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam.
A famous collection of Persian poetry.
And Tamám Shud roughly translates to,
It is finished.
which sounds unbelievably eerie in the context of a dead man,
Almost like a final message.
or a goodbye note without explanation.
Police publicly announced the phrase, hoping someone would recognize it.
And then something unbelievable happened.
A local man contacted authorities, saying he had found a strange book in his car months earlier,
The book was a copy of the Rubaiyat,
and one page had been torn out.
the exact page containing the words Tamám Shud.
I mean, at that point, investigators must have felt like they were inside a spy novel.
Seriously?
But it gets crazier.
Inside the book, investigators found handwritten letters,
A possible code.
5 lines of random capital letters.
Nobody could understand them.
Military cryptographers tried.
Code experts tried.
Amateur sleuths tried.
Even today, nobody definitively knows what the code means.
And believe it or not,
We're only getting started.
because next we're going to talk about the mysterious woman connected to the case,
The nurse who may have recognized the Somerton man immediately.
and the shocking theories that suggest this case may involve espionage
Secret relationships.
and hidden identities.
If you're enjoying this documentary so far,
Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications.
because this mystery only gets darker from here.
And trust me, the next part changes everything.
By the beginning of 1949, investigators were desperate.
They had a dead man with no identity.
No confirmed cause of death.
A mysterious coded message.
And now, a poetry book connected directly to the case.
But hidden inside that book, investigators found something else.
A phone number.
And that single phone number would lead police to one of the most mysterious people in this entire case.
A young nurse living only minutes away from Somerton Beach,
A woman who may have recognized the dead man immediately.
but spent the rest of her life denying it. When detectives examined the back pages of the Rubaiyat,
They noticed a phone number written lightly in pencil.
not printed, handwritten, which meant it was probably important to whoever owned the book.
Police traced the number to a woman named Jessica Thompson.
Although in many reports she's referred to by the nickname Jestin.
She lived in Glenelg, very close to Somerton Beach.
Now imagine being Jessica for a moment.
You're at home one day, and suddenly police arrive asking questions about a mysterious dead stranger found on a beach.
That alone would be terrifying.
Detectives questioned Jessica carefully. At first, she claimed she had never seen the dead man before, but then investigators showed her a plaster cast of his face.
And according to witnesses, her reaction was immediate. One detective later said she looked completely shocked.
Almost as if she were about to faint. Now here's where things get incredibly suspicious. Jessica still denied knowing him.
Even after that emotional reaction, which naturally made police wonder, was she lying?
And honestly, it's hard not to think she knew more than she admitted, especially because of what investigators discovered next.
Years earlier, Jessica had owned a copy of the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, the exact same rare poetry book connected to the dead man.
During World War II, she reportedly gave a copy of that book to a soldier named Alfred Boxall, and for a while, investigators feared Boxall might actually be the Somerton Man.
But then police located Alfred Boxall alive and well, and he still had his copy of the book, untouched, which meant the Somerton Man's copy belonged to someone else entirely.
Still, the coincidence was unbelievable. Think about it. A dead stranger carrying a hidden message from a rare poetry book.
And that exact book connects directly to a woman living near the crime scene.
That's the kind of thing detectives dream about.
Or fear.
The more researchers studied Jessica Thompson, the more mysterious she became. She was intelligent, educated, quiet, and according to some accounts, extremely private.
She worked as a nurse, but some investigators later suspected there was more to her story. One reason was geography.
Jessica lived close to important military locations, and during the Cold War, areas near military facilities attracted intelligence attention.
Now, to be clear, there's no definitive evidence Jessica was involved in espionage, but speculation exploded over the years.
Some researchers believe she may have known people involved in intelligence work. Others think she may have been romantically connected to the Somerton Man.
And some believe she was protecting secrets too dangerous to reveal.
One theory that keeps appearing in this case is tragic romance. The idea that the Somerton Man came to Adelaide to meet Jessica.
Maybe they had a secret relationship. Maybe he loved her. Maybe something went horribly wrong that night.
And honestly, there are moments in this story where it almost feels heartbreakingly human.
Exactly.
Because beneath all the spy theories and secret codes, there might simply be two people with a painful past. Some theorists think the phrase Tamám Shud could have represented emotional closure.
Like a final goodbye. Almost poetic.
Imagine carrying those words hidden in your pocket. It is finished. That doesn't sound random.
Now we're entering one of the strangest parts of the mystery.
Jessica Thompson had a son named Robin.
And years later, people noticed something unusual about him.
Robin shared rare physical characteristics with the Somerton Man.
Specifically, unusual ear features and missing lateral incisors. Now, those traits are genetically uncommon.
Which immediately created a shocking theory, that the Somerton Man might actually have been Robin's biological father.
And if that theory is true, it changes everything.
Because suddenly, Jessica's strange behavior makes more sense.
Exactly.
Maybe she recognized him immediately because she knew him intimately. Maybe she panicked because revealing the truth could destroy her life.
Social expectations were very different. Scandals could ruin reputations, especially for women.
But then there's the theory that pushes this mystery into full spy thriller territory: espionage.
Let's look at the evidence people point to. Unknown man, removed clothing labels, possible undetectable poison.
Hidden coded writing, Cold War timing, suspicious behavior, no confirmed identity for decades.
It sounds exactly like the plot of an intelligence operation. And during the Cold War, intelligence agencies absolutely used false identities.
They also used coded communication, and sometimes poison.
Some researchers even believe the strange letters in the book may have been a one-time encryption code, meaning the message could only be decoded with a matching key.
Which would explain why nobody has cracked it. And honestly, that possibility is terrifying.
Because if true, the Somerton Man may have died carrying secrets nobody was supposed to uncover.
Let's talk about the code itself for a second. The book contained 5 lines of capital letters, random-looking combinations.
No punctuation, no explanation. Experts spent decades trying to decipher it.
Cryptographers, military analysts, code breakers, even amateur internet detectives.
Some think it's initials of words. Others think it's poetry shorthand. Some think it's meaningless. And others believe it's an intelligence cipher.
What makes it so haunting is that we may never know. The answer could literally be sitting in front of us, but impossible to understand.
One of the saddest aspects of this mystery is that for decades, the Somerton Man had no name. Think about that. A human being dies, and nobody claims the body.
No missing persons match, no family arrives, no friends come forward. It's almost like he vanished from existence the moment he died.
That's what makes this case emotionally disturbing to me.
Same.
Because beyond the mystery, there's also loneliness. A man dying alone on a beach while the world keeps moving around him.
As months turned into years, investigators became increasingly frustrated. Every lead collapsed.
Every clue raised new questions. And eventually, the case started turning into legend. Newspapers across Australia covered the mystery constantly.
People became obsessed. Who was he? Why was he there? Who removed the labels? What did the code mean?
And most importantly, how did he die?
But the strangest twists in this mystery were still ahead. Because next, we're diving into the bizarre forensic evidence, the impossible timeline,
And the modern DNA breakthrough that may finally have revealed the Somerton Man's true identity.
and trust me, the deeper this mystery goes, the more unbelievable it becomes. At this point in the investigation, police had something terrifying on their hands. A dead man with no identity, a mysterious woman who may have recognized him.
A hidden message reading Tamám Shud, a possible code nobody could decipher, and growing rumors of espionage.
But strangely enough, the deeper investigators looked into the physical evidence, the less sense the case made.
One of the first things investigators noticed about the Somerton Man was how physically unusual he appeared. Not unusual in a creepy way, but almost too perfect.
Witnesses described him as healthy, athletic, and extremely well-groomed. He had broad shoulders, strong calves, and surprisingly developed leg muscles.
Now, this next detail became important later. His calf muscles were unusually defined. Some experts suggested he may have been a dancer or someone who spent years performing movements requiring balance and precision.
And this created another layer of mystery, because if he had a specialized profession, why couldn't anyone identify him?
Exactly.
You'd think somebody somewhere would recognize him.
Investigators also noticed something odd about his shoes. They were polished and clean, almost too clean for someone walking across a beach.
That tiny detail led to major speculation. Some theorists believe he may not have walked far at all, meaning he could have been dropped there.
And honestly, when you look at the crime scene photos, the body position feels eerie.
Very eerie, like someone carefully placed him against the seawall. Now here's where things become frustrating for investigators. The exact timeline of his death was difficult to establish.
Witnesses saw him alive the previous evening, or at least they thought he was alive. Then by morning, he was dead.
But because forensic science in 1948 was limited, doctors couldn't pinpoint the precise moment of death.
And that uncertainty created a massive problem, because it meant investigators couldn't fully track his final movements. And that uncertainty created a massive problem, because it meant investigators couldn't fully track his final movements.
Did he eat alone? Was he meeting someone? Did the food contain poison?
And honestly, that possibility terrified investigators, because if poison was delivered through food, the killer may have been sitting directly across from him.
One clue people rarely talk about is the missing hat.
Right.
In 1948, men dressed like the Somerton Man almost always wore hats outdoors, especially when traveling.
But no hat was found anywhere near the body, which may sound unimportant, but investigators thought otherwise.
Some theorists believe he lost it during a struggle. Others think someone removed it afterward.
And some think it suggests he arrived at the beach unexpectedly.
Now, despite all the murder theories, some investigators believe the Somerton Man may have taken his own life.
And honestly, there are reasons people believe that. The phrase Tamám Shud, it is finished, that sounds deeply personal.
Almost like someone closing a chapter forever. And there's another detail people point to, the calmness of the body position. He wasn't sprawled violently across the sand. There were no signs of panic.
No obvious struggle, which led some investigators to think he may have sat down peacefully, knowing death was coming. But then again, the removed labels complicate everything.
Exactly. If it was suicide, why erase your identity so completely?
Police reconstructed some of the Somerton Man's movements through transportation records, and the timeline was confusing.
The suitcase at Adelaide railway station had been checked in earlier, but witnesses couldn't clearly track where he went afterward.
Some believe he spent hours wandering Adelaide before ending up at Somerton Beach. Others think he was meeting someone secretly. And then there's a darker theory.
That he never intended to go to the beach at all, meaning someone else may have brought him there after death.
One question has haunted investigators for generations. Why was the Somerton Man so difficult to identify? Think about it. This wasn't ancient history. This was 1948.
Modern enough for records to exist.
Yet nobody claimed him. No employer recognized him. No family reported him missing in a way that matched. It's almost unnatural.
Like he deliberately erased himself before dying.
As the case grew stranger, newspapers exploded with coverage. People across Australia became obsessed. Some believed he was a Soviet spy. Others thought he was a tragic lover. The Somerton Man slowly transformed from a criminal investigation.
Behind the scenes, investigators were exhausted. Every lead collapsed. Every witness contradicted another witness. And every clue seemed incomplete.
Imagine spending years trying to identify someone and failing completely. One detective reportedly became deeply obsessed with the case.
Because it violated basic logic. Every human being leaves traces. Friends, family, coworkers, records, memories. But the Somerton Man seemed to exist outside all of that.
And then, over the years, the mystery became even stranger, because researchers started uncovering hidden details police may have overlooked, possible military connections, possible intelligence links,
and disturbing coincidences involving Jessica Thompson.
But perhaps the most shocking twist of all would arrive decades later, when modern DNA science finally reopened the case.
Next, we're diving into the DNA breakthrough that may finally have revealed the Somerton Man's identity. And trust us, the answers only make the mystery stranger.
Because even if we finally know who he was, we still may never know why he died.
For decades, the Somerton Man mystery refused to die. Generations of detectives tried to solve it.
Journalists became obsessed with it. Codebreakers studied it. Historians debated it. And ordinary people around the world spent years trying to answer one simple question.
Who was the man on Somerton Beach?
As the years passed, the investigation slowly faded. Not because people stopped caring, but because detectives simply ran out of leads.
Eventually, the Somerton Man became more than a police case. He became a legend.
The Somerton Man was buried in Adelaide's West Terrace Cemetery, and for decades, visitors came to stare at his grave.
Think about how haunting that is. A grave belonging to a man without a confirmed name. A human being reduced to a mystery.
And honestly, there's something deeply sad about that. Very sad. Because beneath all the spy theories and coded messages, there was still a real person.
Then came the internet, and suddenly the Somerton Man mystery exploded globally again. Online forums filled with theories, YouTube documentaries appeared, Reddit investigators analyzed every detail. People studied the code for years.
Some believed the code was military encryption. Others thought it was a love message. Some even claimed it was unsolvable nonsense to confuse people.
But despite all the theories, the biggest question still remained unanswered. Who was he?
Then finally, after more than 70 years, science entered the story. Researchers began pushing for modern DNA analysis.
Because technology had changed dramatically since 1948. What detectives couldn't solve with fingerprints, modern genetics might solve forever.
In 2021, authorities officially exhumed the Somerton Man's body, which was an enormous moment in the history of this case.
Imagine that for a second. A mystery buried for over 70 years, being reopened by modern science.
Then came the announcement that shocked the world. Researchers believed they had finally identified the Somerton Man.
According to DNA evidence, the man may have been Carl Charles Webb, an electrical engineer born in Melbourne.
And suddenly, after decades of being nobody, the Somerton Man may finally have had a real name.
The identification didn't fully solve the mystery. Because even if the Somerton Man truly was Charles Webb, huge questions still remain.
Why were all the labels removed? Why carry the Tamám Shud message? Why was there a hidden code? Why did Jessica Thompson appear so disturbed when seeing his face?
And most importantly, how did he die?
That's what makes this case so powerful. Even the answers don't feel complete.
Many researchers still believe Jessica Thompson was one of the key pieces of this mystery. Some even think she knew the Somerton Man personally.
And honestly, her reaction to the plaster cast is hard to ignore. Very hard to ignore.
Witnesses said she looked emotionally shaken, almost terrified. If she truly didn't know him, why react that strongly?
Now, let's talk about the theory people discuss the most.
The spy theory.
Even today, many investigators remain convinced the Somerton Man was involved in espionage. And honestly, there are reasons why this theory refuses to disappear.
Cold War timing, possible poison, hidden code, no identity, removed labels, suspicious behavior.
It checks a lot of boxes.
It really does.
But there's also a problem. No direct proof. No intelligence documents. No confirmed spy connections. No official records linking him to espionage operations.
Which means the theory remains exactly that. A theory.
You know, John, the older I get, the more this mystery stops feeling like a spy thriller to me.
Really?
Yeah, because underneath everything, the codes, the poison theories, the secrecy, I see loneliness.
That's actually really true.
Imagine being this man, traveling alone, possibly carrying emotional pain nobody knew about, maybe hiding from something, maybe searching for someone, and then ending up alone on a beach at night.
That image stays with me.
Same here.
And then there's the code, one of the most frustrating parts of this mystery.
Even after decades, nobody has definitively cracked it, which is incredible when you think about it.
We've sent humans into space, created artificial intelligence, mapped the human genome. Yet a few handwritten letters in an old poetry book still confuse the world.
Maybe it's a cipher. Maybe it's meaningless. Maybe it's deeply personal shorthand only one person could understand.
The key to the entire mystery died with the Somerton Man himself. Sometimes I try imagining his final evening.
Me too. The beach quiet, cold wind blowing from the ocean, a man sitting alone against the seawall.
Possibly knowing he would never leave alive. Did he meet someone there? Was he waiting for somebody?
Did he know he was poisoned?
Was he afraid?
Or was he strangely calm, like someone who had already accepted the end?
More than 70 years later, the Somerton Man mystery still fascinates the world.
Because it contains everything humans fear: secrets, isolation, death, hidden identities, and unanswered questions.
It reminds us that even in the modern world, a person can still disappear into mystery.
Maybe the Somerton Man was Charles Webb. Maybe he was a spy.
Maybe he was a heartbroken man carrying secrets. Maybe he was murdered.
Maybe he chose his own ending. But perhaps the reason this mystery survives is because nobody truly wants it solved completely.
Because once every answer is revealed, the mystery dies.
And somehow the Somerton Man feels larger than the solution itself.
A silent stranger sitting alone beside the ocean, taking his final secrets to the grave.
What do you think happened to the Somerton Man? Was he a spy, a victim, a lover, or something even stranger?
Tell us your theories in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this deep dive documentary, make sure to subscribe for more mysteries, hidden histories, and unsolved cases.
Until next time, stay curious. And remember, some mysteries never truly end.